Hello everyone, welcome once again to Investing with a Difference. So we have been covering a lot of news, actually good news. We have talked about the vote decay going to zero. We talked about how the EOS was breaking out against BTC, and there's so much good news around rankings, around the progress on EOS world. Also, we covered the EOS mass adoption. So it has been some really great news in last few days, and we are happy to share that. So let's have a quick look at the charts, which is not necessarily showing the best picture. So want to start with overall market conditions in the Bitcoin. So you see that Bitcoin has now hit the upper channel on this downtrend. We are still not out. We have not broken out. And as you know, Bitcoin is still the leading indicator of where the rest of the market is going in the crypto world. And we did try in the last 24 hours, in fact last 12 hours, we are trying to break out. We touched this upper trend line again. We are still nowhere close to breaking out. We need a closure above this line on a daily basis, or even in a intraday basis we have not yet crossed. The other thing is, of course, which is not still clear, is how long it will take to reach its 200-day moving average. So there are two possibilities. We can go back in this channel and try to go back and try this lower support area, which is around the $4,000 mark on Bitfinex. Again, it depends on what exchange you're looking at, so please note that I'm looking at Bitfinex numbers, and which is currently quoting at around $4,200, which was always the resistance level. And so what I'm saying is, on a Bitfinex levels, 4,200, or if you're looking at CoinMarketCap, I think it's around $4,100. So that whatever the range is based on whoever or whichever exchange you're looking at. So what I'm saying is there is a possibility of a $200 down move, but this range is becoming smaller and smaller. So it's becoming interesting whether it breaks out on the upside or on the downside. So we are closely watching it. I think it has been some really good price action. Let's have a quick look at EOS versus Bitcoin. So irrespective of what is happening on the overall market, as I discussed in the recent videos, the EOS itself has broken out of this downward move against Bitcoin, but it's also hitting this consistent resistance around 107 K Satoshi. So if you look at this level, so let me draw a line. So now this is the area which is also, if you see, go back, I think it's not like a major resistance. We are already above 200-day moving average, so we have definitely established a pretty decent bull run against Bitcoin. But because this was the recent high, and we are kind of getting blocked here again, I'm assuming, because as I said, the sentiment is driven by Bitcoin, so we need to see. So it's very interesting that both Bitcoin and EOS are hitting the resistance levels, which are the recent resistance levels based on the trend. And there is a high probability that we can come down from this top of the channel, because we are in overbought conditions and we are testing these. But on the other hand, if we break out in the overall market, there is a very good chance both Bitcoin and EOS can have a decent rally. Maybe at least for the Bitcoin, I would say it will try to test the 200-day moving average. So we are talking about at least a 10% move from here. And on the other hand, on EOS, if we go back to EOS BTC, you have really no nearby resistance, and we will be like very clearly breaking out of this area, which is already broken out from the downtrend perspective, which is already very well ahead of 200-day moving average. So we are, I think, in a very good zone on EOS chart. But in the dollar terms, I will not be surprised if we come back, as well as if the rest of the market come back and EOS tries to test these support areas again, which we broke out of. So typically it goes and comes back, and then it forms an even more stronger uptrend. So there is a high probability now in next day or two, if we see, or maybe next week or so, whether we come down and take support before we resume the up move. So not a great news on the chart, I would say. There is a much bigger probability of coming down, but I think anytime if we break out from these levels, just like what happened here when we broke out, after moving up, we consolidated a bit, even though we dropped a bit, but it was still in uptrend. Similarly, I think we are in a very solid uptrend on EOS against BTC, and that's what I am really excited about. But overall, from the Bitcoin perspective, as you can see here, it's very similar to what was happening in $6,000 or $7,000 area or earlier in 2018. So it's not very pretty picture. So as you can see here, there was a lot of chances when we kept on hitting this downward facing trend line, and we were never able to break out, and in fact we only broke down. So from that perspective, so what we are seeing here is we are repeating that pattern in 2019, and we are going a sideways move with a downward facing pattern. So there is no hope as of now, even after all the great price move in last few days. If you're not looking at a bigger picture, you may get optimistic, but I'm not very optimistic unless we clearly break out of this and finally try and test this 200-day moving average. So that's all from here. All the best if you're a trader. Again, there is none of these is an investment advice. This is just some observations from us on the price move and the charts. Thank you.